In the deserts of Egypt, beneath the golden sands and the towering pyramids, lie secrets that have been buried for thousands of years. Secrets that archaeologists are only just beginning to uncover. This is not the story of treasures made of gold or jeweled crowns, but of something far stranger. Discoveries that challenge everything we think we know about the ancient Egyptians. It began when a team of archaeologists led by the renowned Dr. Zahi Hawass stumbled upon a sealed shaft in the Saqqara Necropolis, not far from the pyramids of Giza. The shaft had been deliberately blocked with rocks and sand more than 3,000 years ago. For weeks, workers labored carefully, removing 6 tons of rubble each day. Slowly, the tunnel revealed its secrets, inch by inch, until after 18 long weeks of digging, the team finally reached the bottom. What they discovered was extraordinary. Buried deep underground was an enormous limestone sarcophagus, weighing nearly 40 tons heavier than 6 elephants. Never before had such a massive coffin been found at the bottom of a shaft. The question was immediate. How did the ancient Egyptians move such a colossal object into a chamber so deep beneath the earth without modern tools or machinery? As preparations were made to open the sarcophagus, the team noticed something strange. There was already a hole in the side of the massive stone lid. Could it be possible that someone had broken in thousands of years earlier? When modern cranes finally lifted the lid, the truth shocked everyone. Inside there was no mummy, no treasure, nothing but scattered bones and fragments of rubble. The treasure was long gone, but the mystery deepened. Who had broken into such a heavily sealed chamber? And how had they managed to shift a stone so massive without today's technology? Some believe the looters may have been the very people who built the tomb. Using knowledge of hidden passages and ancient engineering techniques, even stranger clues emerged when the chamber was studied further. Beneath the coffin, researchers discovered a hollow cavity, as if the Egyptians had designed an ingenious method of lowering the sarcophagus, gradually using sand shafts. One tunnel would be filled with sand, the sarcophagus placed above it, and as the sand shifted, the massive coffin would descend steadily into place. A feat of engineering brilliance, 3,000 years old, showing that the Egyptians were masters not just of stone, but of gravity itself. But this was not the only mystery uncovered at Saqqara. In another burial chamber, the archaeologists found something truly heartbreaking. A small wooden coffin, carved from a single piece of timber, buried 36 feet underground. On the surface it seemed ordinary, but the hieroglyphs etched into it told a haunting story. When X-rays scanned the sealed coffin, the images revealed the tiny body of a mummified child, barely 9 months old. The ancient Egyptians had gone to extraordinary lengths to preserve even the smallest and youngest of their loved ones. Wrapped carefully in linen, prepared with resin, and placed inside a beautifully decorated coffin, this child had been given all the rights of the afterlife, usually reserved for kings and nobles. For the Egyptians, life after death was so important that even their infants were guided on the eternal journey, armed with symbols, prayers, and paintings on their coffins to ensure safe passage into the world beyond. The discoveries did not stop there. In another tomb, a sarcophagus was unearthed belonging to a woman whose name was inscribed as Maud Meti. But inside was not just one skeleton, It was two. One belonged to a woman in her 40s, the other to a young man, barely 18. DNA testing later revealed the truth. The boy was her son. Both had died from a rare hereditary disease, Mediterranean familial fever, a sickness passed down through bloodlines. And so, in death, the mother and her child were buried together, their lives tragically cut short, but united forever in the afterlife. The Egyptians believed that life after death mirrored life itself, and family bonds were eternal. Perhaps this was why they were placed in the same coffin, so that even in eternity, mother and son would never be parted. What makes these discoveries so unsettling is not only what was found, but what remains unexplained. Why were some sarcophagi sealed so carefully only to be looted centuries ago? How did ancient builders transport such immense stones with precision? Why were the tiniest details of life preserved, even down to the body of an infant, in a way that suggests a deep spiritual knowledge of death and rebirth? And then, there are whispers of something darker. Some researchers wonder if these chambers were not just tombs, but perhaps hiding places for objects of power, artifacts the Egyptians did not want anyone to find. Could some of the looters who reached these hidden chambers thousands of years ago have been priests or even members of the royal court, reclaiming objects too dangerous to remain buried? The Saqqara Necropolis itself is vast, stretching for miles, with layer upon layer of burial shafts, temples, and hidden passages. Each excavation reveals not just bodies and artifacts, but secrets of a civilization that continues to astonish the modern world. The more we learn, the more it seems that the Egyptians knew far more than we give them credit for. Their engineering was not primitive, it was genius. Their burial rituals were not superstition, they were complex spiritual sciences. And yet, with every discovery comes another question. If they could move 40-ton sarcophagi with precision, what else might they have been capable of? If they buried their dead with such care and complexity, what did they know of the soul, of life, and of the universe beyond death? Perhaps the answers still lie beneath the sand, waiting to be uncovered. Perhaps the greatest mysteries of Egypt are not the pyramids that stand above the ground, but the tombs, shafts, and sealed chambers that lie hidden beneath it, holding stories that have remained silent for 3,000 years, waiting for the day we would finally listen.